Welcome back. It's a notorious time of the year for crime. People on holiday and tend to let their guards down. So how are the SAPS, or is the SAPS, I should say, preparing for this festive season? Police Minister Bheki Cele has been touring the country ahead of the busy holiday period. Let's unpack his plans on how to keep South Africa safe this December. Police Ministry spokesperson Lirandzu Themba joining us now live via Zoom. So, Lirandzu, how are you going to keep us safe this December? What's going to be different?
Thank you so much, Shahan. Look, I think what's really important is to also note that it's not just the police that are going to keep people safe. People have to also make sure that they are always alert as to where they are, who's around them, especially at times where they're going to be letting their hair down. We know that the festive season is a time that's associated with festivities. People tend to, dabble in a lot of, alcohol. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but we also know that it's a time where criminals are bound to pounce. So we are just calling on community members to also work hand in hand with police officers who are going to be out there in their numbers. Police visibility is going to be at an all-time high, especially in areas where we are going to be seeing a lot of people converging, especially in malls where we know that people are going to be, putting together their Christmas shopping and having their lunches and fun times. But that is the very time where people are bound to be attacked and to be swindled out of their hard-earned cash. So police officers are in places like malls, in taxi ranks, which was, by the way, where we found ourselves walking the streets of Mpumalanga today during the Safer Festive season in an inspection tour with the Minister of Police and the top management of the SAPS.
And of course, Lirandzu, houses are targeted over the festive season quite brazenly by criminals because they're trying to get whatever they can. How can police actually try to deter that from happening? I know it's a very difficult thing to do because you can't be everywhere all at once, but is there any special plans to look at house robberies?
Again, the crimes that are most feared by South Africans are home invasions. But we know that if you're looking at our crime figures that we released from July to September this year, we saw that there was an increase in home robberies, which is what you're alluding to. So because a lot of people are going to be heading out to the various holiday destinations, mainly in the coastal areas, some of them do leave their houses unattended to. We're really calling on the public to just let your local security company know that you're going to be away. Also, just let your neighbors know as well that, if you see a van pulling up with some of, your prized goods coming out of your house, it surely isn't you. You're not moving out. That is why we have to really maintain some sort of relations with our neighbors. But if that does fail, it is very important that the South Africans really do have comfort knowing that police officers do routine patrols around neighborhoods and so forth. But it is a combination of working together with South African Police Service and the community at large, because after all, it is the very people that live in our communities that are the eyes and ears of police officers. What is important to state, Shahan, is that while police cannot always be everywhere, they are going to be the shifting of resources to where they are most needed. We know that there are going to be shifting of resources to the coastal areas. For example, your KZN, your Western Cape and your Eastern Cape, where people are likely to converge. But it doesn't mean that we're now turning a blind eye in places like Gauteng, where we know that there is going to be that opportunistic behavior by criminals who are going to be targeting these homes that you speak of. So we're just calling on South Africans just to be cautious. We are living in a country where there is lots of criminal intent. While the police officers have said that they're going to be doing all that they can to ensure that there is, minimum crime happening during this time, we're just calling on South Africans just to work together with South African Police Service to ensure that this does indeed happen.
Yeah, let's talk about response times, because that's an issue when you try to get a hold of your local police station. I've encountered this as well, where the phones just ring or you're waiting a long time if you do happen to unfortunately be robbed in your home. Has the Minister placed any focus to officers at police stations about how important it is to act swiftly?
It is not only just important, it's imperative, because it is the very first couple of hours that are really going to make or break many cases. I know that you have had a personal experience, but you are one of many South Africans that have had a situation where they're not able to get through to their local police station. This is something that has been constantly worked on. It is something that is being drummed on an everyday to police officers to always constantly improve their services to the people of South Africa. After all, it is their fundamental job, Shahan, that they need to be serving the public, they need to be serving the nation. We are also encouraged as a police ministry that when it comes to secondary victimization of gender-based violence victims, while we are seeing that this is cropping up, just very recently there has been a viral video of a woman in Pretoria who also is complaining about not being given the satisfaction service that she deserves. We are encouraged by the fact that there are these gender-based violence desks that are being implemented and put together in our police stations. We're sitting around 300 of these gender-based violence desks where we are going to be seeing dedicated SAPS officers who are solely going to be there just to take statements from victims of gender-based violence. This, of course, minimizes the chances of people being, subjected to secondary victimization by officers who just don't simply know how to respond to gender-based violence victims. The aim, essentially, is to have a gender-based violence desk in every police station.
Yeah, Lirandzu, one last quick one because I'm running out of time. I know that you issued a statement and we heard from the minister about asking police officers to prioritize gender-based violence cases. And as you mentioned, there are several desks set up at police stations. We've heard this before. We've asked police to actually be careful with rape survivors, etc., over the past couple of years. So how is it going to be different, and how do you drive this message down to every single police officer in the SAPS? Because they clearly haven't been getting this message over the years.
You don't just tell the foot soldiers, Shahan, you also tell the commanders, and you also hold the commanders to account. Because it's fair enough to say that, I've told a certain sergeant or constable that they should improve their services to gender-based violence victims. But if they're not getting the sort of, backlash and the commanders are actually telling them that if you have done this, this is the sort of repercussions, then this is the reason why the South African police management has to act on commanders who are not acting on their juniors, who are just, giving a disservice to South African police service. We also know that the IPID is on hand to, as the watchdog of the police officers or the police service, to make sure that these transgressions do not go, they don't just fall between the cracks. There should be accountability. While we know that there is those sort of institutions that are out there to ensure that there is accountability, it also starts within the home. It starts in-house. We need to clean house. And this is a message that we will not stop drumming to the ears of all men and women in blue. Yeah. And we really hope that at some point the message will have to sink in. But we encourage that this is happening slowly, albeit.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Police Ministry spokesperson, Lirandzu Themba.